What is hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, and how can you eat when you have these conditions? First of all, I want to start out by saying that everybody is unique, everybody's different. It's really important that you work with someone that's qualified, who knows the thyroid inside and out, and can help you if you need medication, get your labs done. You can also work with a nutritionist to try to do some of the things that you can do nutrition wise for Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism, and I'll get into that later. But first of all, I want to kind of describe what is Hashimoto's, what is hypothyroidism. Okay, hypothyroidism is when you have a condition where your body does not produce enough thyroid hormones. Your thyroid gland is located right in your neck under your Adam's apple, and it's shaped like a butterfly, and its main job is to produce hormones. So if your body is not producing enough of those hormones, you have hypothyroidism. Hashimoto's is when your body is triggered by something and it starts attacking your thyroid gland. This is an autoimmune disease. And usually what happens with Hashimoto's is something has happened in your life or with your body to kind of turn on that switch. It could be something like puberty or being pregnant, menopause, or it could be a stressful event in your life, such as a death in the family, a divorce. Anything like that can put great amounts of stress on the body. And this can trigger your genes to turn on and cause you to have this autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's, where your body actually thinks that the thyroid gland should not be there, so it starts attacking. So as I said, your thyroid gland, its main job is to produce thyroid hormones, and it does this in a loop system. When your body does not have enough thyroid hormones, it will send a signal to your pituitary gland. Your pituitary gland is located in your head, and the pituitary gland will send out what's called a thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH. That's usually what the doctors all test, which is very not useful. That's a story for another day. But today we're talking about Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism and nutrition. So once the pituitary gland sends out the TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone, and it's just as the name implies, it's sending a message to the thyroid. Help, our body needs more thyroid hormones, produce more, produce more. And the problem with hypothyroidism is that your thyroid is sluggish. It's not going to produce the amount of hormones that you need. And on the flip side with Hashimoto's, your body, your immune system is attacking your gland. So again, it's not going to be able to produce the correct amount of hormones that your body is going to need. So the main hormones that are produced by your thyroid are T3 and T4. There are other ones like T2, but T3 and T4 are the most abundant, with the most being T4 and then followed by T3. T3 is considered the active thyroid hormone. This is what actually bonds to your cell receptors and what actually works in your system, in your cells. T4 is there because we do need some T4 in our body, but it also can be converted into T3, the active form. So if we don't have enough T3, our bodies can then convert T4 into T3 and use it when we need it. But again, it comes back to the problem of, is your thyroid gland even producing enough of these hormones? Your thyroid gland is considered your master gland. It controls so many things in your body. You have T3 receptors on every single cell in your body, including your heart. So it's very important. If you did not have these hormones, you would actually die. So they are extremely important. So let's talk a little bit about symptoms. So the thyroid gland has a huge role in your metabolism. That's why if you have Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism and you may have gained weight, you cannot lose weight, it doesn't matter what you do, how much you exercise, doesn't matter what you do, you cannot lose weight because your metabolism is altered from not having enough thyroid hormones. And when this is altered, you can have symptoms such as coldness, especially in your extremities, depression, anxiety, weight gain, like I mentioned, fatigue, and also fluid retention, especially underneath your eyes. You can also have symptoms of poor tissue repair. This includes brittle nails, hair loss, difficulty swallowing, dry skin, a hoarse voice, joint pain, or even tendinitis. Symptoms of irregular nerve impulses will cause you to have muscle spasms, muscle pain, constipation, diarrhea, poor coordination, poor memory, and tremors. And then symptoms of poor hormone regulation include worsening PMS symptoms, hot flashes, headaches, insomnia, irregular periods, decreased libido. Now, everybody experiences different symptoms when they have Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism. I myself actually do have Hashimoto's, so I'm very familiar with the symptoms. My symptoms included weight gain, fatigue, hair loss, depression, brittle nails, cold all the time. Those were my main symptoms. I remember when I was probably at my lowest point. I was so fatigued. I could not even unload the dishwasher without sitting down. Like, I physically was so tired that I couldn't even have the energy to unload my dishwasher. Or I remember when there was a time that I was sitting on the couch and I literally could not get up. Like, my body would not get up off the couch. That is how much fatigue had taken over me. So with that being said, all of that, you know how the thyroid works, you know the symptoms of hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's. What can we do about it? Well, I would say first and foremost, if you think you have Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, if you're having any symptoms, please go to a doctor that is trained in the thyroid. Probably is not going to be an endocrinologist, unfortunately. They just were not taught the proper way to measure your thyroid. They weren't taught the proper medications to give if needed. They just weren't taught that in medical school. It's not their fault. You need to find someone who is willing to do all of the proper tests. So what you really want to get tested is your T4 and your T3. And you want to make sure it's the free T4 and free T3. Free just means that's the amount of hormone that's in your blood. You want to make sure you get those tested. You also want to make sure you get reverse T3 tested, which that is another discussion also for another time. You want to find a qualified person. It could be a nurse practitioner or a natural doctor. And you also want to work with a nutritionist if possible to help you with certain things that you can do nutrition-wise to help your Hashimoto's and your hypothyroidism. So here are just a few tips that you can start right now if you're having symptoms and you are waiting to get in to see someone or you just can't see someone right now. These are some tips that you can do right now to try and help your thyroid condition through diet and lifestyle. I'm going to talk about that as well. So you recall that I talked about how T4 has to convert into T3. That conversion process takes many nutrients. Your iron has to be at a proper level. Your vitamin D, your selenium, your iodine. There's so many that need to be at a proper level. So we need to get those vitamins and minerals into our diets. It's also important with Hashimoto's, as it is with any autoimmune condition, that we need to keep our inflammation down. With any autoimmune disease, you have a lot of inflammation. So what can you eat? You want to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. This is going to provide those essential vitamins and minerals, as well as antioxidants. So berries are great, green leafy vegetables, bananas, apples. There's many fruits and vegetables that you can eat. Healthy fats are going to keep your inflammation down. That's going to be your coconut oil, your olive oil, your fatty fish, avocado. And you're going to want to eat lean proteins. Animal proteins like chicken, fish, beef, eggs. These are all going to provide you with complete proteins, meaning they have all 9 amino acids. And this is really important for your immune health. You're going to want to get in fiber. You can do this with beans and legumes. And then, as I said, you want to keep that inflammation down. So spices like turmeric, garlic, ginger, those are all going to help keep the inflammation down. You want to incorporate those into your dishes. So those are some things diet-wise that you can get started with. Another thing that's very important is to be gluten-free. And it's not just because it's a fad and everybody's doing it and people think if you go gluten-free, you're gonna lose weight. It actually has a specific purpose for your thyroid. When you eat gluten, what happens is something called molecular mimicry. There is a protein in gluten that mimics your thyroid. So what happens if you have Hashimoto's and your immune system is attacking your thyroid and you eat gluten, your body thinks it's your thyroid. So it sends out more, I like to think of it as like little soldiers. They're coming out to protect and to attack. So when you eat gluten, these soldiers are like, hey, I need to destroy this. So they're getting sent out so your antibodies are gonna increase, your symptoms are gonna increase, and you're gonna feel bad. So it's very important that you try to eat a gluten-free diet. Okay, let's talk for a minute about lifestyle. Now, some people who have Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism, they think if they just eat less, exercise more, go out and run 10 miles every day, they're gonna lose the weight. And the problem with that, it never works, always backfires. And it's kind of a twofold problem. Number one, your thyroid is dysregulated, so it's tanking your metabolism. It doesn't matter what you do. Until you get your thyroid hormones figured out, you're not gonna lose weight. You might even gain weight. So you need to really focus in on that and work on that. The second thing is when you put your body through a stress, that is going to cause your thyroid to be more dysregulated. So if you are going in the gym and you're going on the treadmill 30 minutes a day and you're doing the stair stepper, you might even be going to the gym twice a day thinking that you're doing a good thing. You're actually causing so much stress on your body that it's making your thyroid condition worse. You need to keep your stress down. It's better to just do some weightlifting or maybe do some walking, something that's not going to stress your body. I mean, anytime you do any kind of hard exercise, that's a physical stress on your body. Another thing is if you have stress in your life, meaning your kids are stressful, you have a stressful marriage, maybe you're going through a divorce, maybe you're taking care of your parents, and you're very stressed. This is also going to have an effect on your thyroid. So you need to figure out ways that you can cope with this. You need to figure out ways that you can keep your stress level down. You can do things like meditation, deep breathing, journaling. These are all great ways to keep your stress down and keep that stress down inside of your body. The last thing I'm going to talk about is sleep. Sleep is extremely important when you have a thyroid condition. You're already fatigued. You need to get the proper amount of sleep. A lack of sleep can cause a flare-up of your thyroid condition. It can cause more inflammation. So getting that required, typically 7 to 9 hours of sleep is very important. There's lots of things you can do for sleep hygiene, keeping the room cold and dark, not getting on your devices or TV an hour before you go to bed, or at least 30 minutes. Having a nice bedtime routine, maybe a calming tea like chamomile. These are all things that you can do to try to have that good sleep hygiene so that you get the right amount of sleep. So those are some things that you can work on if you have Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, or if you suspect you do. If you have all these kind of symptoms, then you can try these nutrition and lifestyle tips and see if it helps you feel better. I would very much encourage you to seek out a thyroid specialist that is trained in the thyroid and is going to test the proper things that they need to test. They're going to give you medication if you need to have medication. So that's why it's important that you work with someone who knows what they're doing. They know what to test. They know the proper medication to give you. Yes, nutrition and lifestyle can help, and I hope that you put into practice some of these tips that I have given you. And my last thing that I'm going to say is that there is always hope. If you are feeling like you have these conditions and you have all kinds of symptoms and you don't know what to do not give up on yourself. do the research, contact different individuals until you find the person that's right for you and that can help you. I hope my nutrition and lifestyle tips and recommendations will help you get started.